fight every single day.
You were one of 6,844.
Hour after hour after hour.
Oh! You've survived a grueling emotional roller coaster.
Yes! You start losing sleep at night. Meals aren't going down as well.
You were pushed to the breaking point.
Yes!
But somehow you are one of the final 27 players.
How exactly did this happen?
Now there is one singular focus.
We're getting closer to that moment.
One task at hand.
You finally see the light.
Yes!
One final table to make.
You kind of get a chance to take it all in and realize where you're at.
I'll take this whole table to the final table.
Can you survive the night?
I'm not going to give up. Let's go.
9 will have a chance at poker immortality.
Yeah.
You always dream it, you always think the impossible.
Yeah!
Let's see what happens. I'm ready to rock and roll.
Yeah!
Your seat at the final table awaits. Welcome to the main event of the World Series of Poker presented by Milwaukee's Best Light. I'm Lon McCarran with Norman Chad. We're down to just 3 tables, 27 players. Among those remaining include 24-year-old Tiffany Michelle, who has a chance to break 2 records, becoming the first female world champion as well as the youngest ever. Pro David Chino Ream has the 2 qualities that are most valuable at this stage of the tournament: experience and chips. And Dennis Phillips at 53 is not just the oldest player in the room, he's also the chip leader. On the E-Trade Financial chip count, here are the top 5 at the start of this day 7. Craig Marquis, Tiffany Michelle, and Peter Eastgate each could become the youngest ever main event champion.
Chino Ream doing well, just out of the top 5 with nearly $8.3 million. Brandon Cantu just slightly below the chip average with $4.7 million.
Brandon's at the featured table, one of 2 players left who've won a gold bracelet. Next to him is Kelly Kim from Whittier, California.
Richard Nixon went to Whittier College, great bluffing school on.
25-year-old Dean Hamrick is a pro player, and also at this featured table, Michael Carroll, short on chips, but at 39, long on experience.
Nothing like a good day 7 of a tournament.
Right?
Day 7, but actually like day 15 or something.
It's so mentally and physically draining. I think I've lost about 10 pounds.
I've lost a lot of weight.
It's hard to get a sense at home of how grueling poker can be. The main event is so emotionally and physically taxing.
The remaining players share the common bond of having survived this far, and they all realize it's a long road ahead if they're lucky. On the Milwaukee's Best Light Pocket Cam, Michael Carroll with ace-9 of hearts.
Carroll sitting on a short stack all of day 6 and starts today with a short stack.
He raises to $250,000. On to our Cincinnati lumber salesman, Joe Bishop of 7-6 of diamonds.
Call.
Makes the call.
Hard not to root for Bishop. He wears his heart on his sleeve.
Geert Andersen.
In the small blind.
Pocket 4s, 25-year-old amateur from Denmark.
He graduated from Herning Institute of Business and Technology. I believe they are the Demon Deacons.
He makes the call. So 3 players will see the flop after the big blind folded. Flop is ace-5-4. Anderson hits a set of 4s. Bishop with an up and down straight draw. Carroll paired his ace.
Yeah, look at that. Michael Carroll flops top pair 3-handed, and he's 2% to win the pot.
Anderson checked his set. And Carroll's going to move all in with that top pair and almost drawing dead.
Jeremy need to count.
Action on Bishop now.
I got 100,000.
Bishop would definitely like to see another card. Anderson, the one sitting pretty here.
Did you hit the ace or not? Oh, Mike, did you hit it? Oh, you probably hit it.
Actually, it's inappropriate for Bishop to talk about Carroll's hand while Anderson is still in the pot. I think Bishop would call us for sure if he didn't have to worry about Anderson behind him.
Call.
He does call for $735,000. Michael Carroll at risk. Action on Anderson now.
I'm all in.
And he moves all in over the top of Bishop.
Oh, my God.
Now Bishop has to worry about Anderson, and he knows he's behind both players, and Michael Carroll must know he's in deep trouble now.
Wow.
So Bishop getting squeezed by Anderson.
Joe Bishop knows he's put $1 million into this pot and probably can go no further.
He gives it up. That is an expensive laydown. So now heads up. Geert Anderson shows his set. Michael Carroll at risk and needing help right away.
Carroll sat next to Phil Locke. He sat next to Jerry Yang. Now he's made a name for himself at the main event, but unless he hits runner, he'll have no chance to succeed Yang as world champion.
So Michael Carroll in danger of being taken out by Geert Anderson. Turn card is a jack, and that's going to do it. Carroll drawing dead, and he's been eliminated from this main event in 27th place.
Carroll was an entertaining force here for a long time. I wish he still had chips.
He was determined to show he is one of the best, and here at the main event, he certainly was. Geert Anderson reduces this field by one more. That's welcome news to the remaining 26 who have survived an amazing ordeal already. Norman, the main event began with enough players to fill well over 700 poker tables. Now a mere 3 remain in play, but only one table truly matters. The final table. Make it there, and you have a chance to play for poker history.
Lon, you want to talk history? 6 players in the field could become the youngest world champion. Tiffany Michelle could become the first woman to ever win the big one. And if history doesn't do it for you, how about the color of money? The 9 players who make the final table will be playing for a first prize of $9 million. You can have your history. I'll take the cash.
The main event winner gets the history and the cash and this world championship bracelet. Let's go out to our lone outer table, table 3, where the dangerous Chino Ream has raised from the button. Action on the small blind and chip leader, Dennis Phillips. Phillips with a re-raise. The big blind Albert Kim must feel picked on.
You guys want to raise my blind?
Yep. When we get down to 3 tables, players bump heads with the same opponents over and over again. Familiarity can breed contempt.
You mad you gave me that 500? Is that why you're doing that?
Yeah, I'm on tilt.
Kim folded.
I mean, I have a button raising hand. You got it.
Good. What is it? Ace King.
You got it.
I don't make that kind of move without something.
I know. I don't raise without something.
Yeah, no problem. Cool.
Neighbors exchanging information. You don't want to get too neighborly.
So Dennis Phillips takes that pot over to table 2. 2 of the top 5 chip leaders are in a hand together. Tiffany Michelle holds the lead after the flop with King Jack over Craig Marquis, who has Jack 9 with a double gut shot straight draw.
These are also 2 of the players who could break Helmut's record for youngest to win. Marquis is 23, Michelle is 24, but 5 months younger than when Helmuth won.
Marquis bet 375. Michelle made the call. Turn card, tray of diamonds. Neither can use that. Tiffany, King High, has the lead.
Marquis first to act.
Marquis checks his no pair. Tiffany bets 500,000 with a stronger no pair.
Marquis getting almost 4 to 1 on his money to call here, and he's only a 3 to 1 dog in the hand.
I remember you. You're the guy that takes you really long to make decisions, huh? We played yesterday for 5 seconds.
Everyone becoming very familiar with everyone else, maybe too familiar.
It's nice to see you haven't changed at all.
Marquis should tell her, I remember you. You're the one who talks when you shouldn't talk, and it's starting to bother me.
Marquis faced with a $500,000 chip bet, but it looks like he wants to do a little more business than that.
He's constructing something.
Marquis will make it $1 3/4 million.
I wonder if Tiffany remembers that. The semi-bluff because your opponent thinks you're weak.
Nice set.
And Tiffany gives it up.
That might quiet her down.
And he rubs it in and shows the bluff.
Wow.
So a great read. Marquis took his time and won that pot from Tiffany Michelle.
Keep doing that.
Michelle will now have to work a little harder for this to be her time to make history.
Hello, beautiful. Oh, yeah.
No one to play with. So play online at partypoker.com. It's fun, it's easy, it's the world's largest poker room.
You folded?
The 2008 World Series of Poker, presented by Milwaukee's Best Light. Main event.
Welcome back to the Rio and say goodbye to 2-time bracelet winner Fee Wynn. Fee knocked out by Paul Sneed, who also took out 3-time bracelet winner Mike Matiso last session. Fee will take home more than $250,000. Brandon Cantu at our featured table, the only bracelet winner left in a field that is now reduced to 25 players. Chip average about $5.5 million. Everyone shooting for $9 million.
So what do you do back home, Joe?
I'm in sales. Cool, glorious thing is I sell to builders. Going real well for me right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, the industry's doing great.
My brother back there is in sales for wholesale mortgages, stuff like that. So.
Oh, yeah, he's doing about as well as I am then.
Yep.
Lucky guy.
You know, I dated Fannie Mae between marriages.
One time.
I figure this money will allow me to actually keep my home now.
You better not mess up then.
I live in a very nice house. It'll probably be enough.
All the payouts from 27th through 19th place are $250,000. That's a nice piece of change for anyone. Brandon Cantu looks at a 10-9 off and folds. Nicholas Flisberg lays it down now to Joe Bishop with Ace-King.
Joe's online screen name is WIDR, which stands for When in Doubt, Raise.
He raises to 250,000, though I don't think there was much doubt there. Gert Anderson now with ace queen in the big blind. And he says re-raise.
Maybe his screen name is WIDRR.
When in doubt, re-raise. He re-raises to 850,000.
You're a quick study.
What are you popping with there? Come on, cutie.
I wish someone would call me cutie.
Jags, get something better. That's king. What do you got?
Come on, WIDRRR.
He needs 600,000 to call.
Call.
And he does call.
WIDRC is fine by me. No reason to go running down the middle of the street buck naked with ace king.
So Anderson and Bishop heads up to the flop. The flop is 6 king 10. Bishop pairs his king.
Now I like it for Joe.
Anderson with a gut shot straight draw. That's 900,000.
How much is it?
900,000.
No, it's not.
No, it is 900,000. Unless that's Joe's way of saying it's going to be more.
No, it's this.
That's more.
All in.
All in.
Bishop pushes all in.
Cocky looking Bishop there.
How much is it?
I hope he doesn't think he can count.
Wager from Joe is an additional 175.
He wants to count.
$1,175,000.
Joe talking to his friend Andy Lashavo.
I don't think there's any way Anderson's calling here.
And his ace-queen is in the muck now.
I mean, Bishop's body language gave away a big hand. He just seemed too strong when he made that raise.
Nice hand, Joe.
Thanks, sir.
How much is it? All right. So let's go a little bit on top of that. Sold this.
Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, and Joe Bishop has modeled himself after his late father, Jim, who gave him life lessons through a deck of cards.
Well, I started playing poker with my dad when I was 9 or 10. I lost everything all the time. Take my piggy bank and wouldn't give it back to me. Losing my allowance, so it was horrible. My father beat me in checkers for 10 years and never let me win once. So you want to win, you're going to earn. And then when I actually finally got better than him, he started to cheat. I said, "You're cheating, what are you doing?" He goes, "Well, life's really not fair, and you're getting that lesson now too." Street smarts. My dad was always big on the concept at the table in life. The key is always be aware when someone's trying to pull something on you. And he's like, put your BS radar up, because that's where it's about. My dad actually just passed away back in April. And the same week that I won my entry for this tournament is when he died. I like to think he knows about it. My dad always loved poker, so he would have loved this. This is a game. Why not have fun with it?
I am a calling machine.
You're at the World Series of Poker. I mean, it's over the rainbow, man.
And there you see one of the two silver dollars Joe uses as card protectors. One has his birth year on it. The other has his father's birth year.
All right, let's go to table 2. Paul Sneed has flopped a monster. He's got trip jacks up against Elon Schwartz, a former chess hustler from Brooklyn, New York, who flopped kings up. Scott Montgomery from Canada came along for the big blind, is drawing dead right now, and he checks. Action on Schwartz. Schwartz makes it 380,000.
Right.
Sneed is going to raise it.
Sneed, the second oldest player left on the field at age 42.
A raise to 1.2 million, and Montgomery will lay it down.
Schwartz might not be going anywhere. Sneed could have ace-queen or ace-10 suited and could be on a draw here. Sneed could have king-queen.
Schwartz makes the call. Sneed shakes his head, feigning disgust. It's a king on the turn, a full house for each, but Schwartz now is best with kings full.
Boy, sometimes your read is wrong and then your luck is right. Schwartz was 10% to win this hand after the flop. Now he's 98%.
He bets $1 million.
Well, Sneed's got to fear a king in Schwartz's hand now.
All in.
Yeah, call.
I guess he didn't fear the king, and Schwartz is in great shape. And that misread might cost Sneed dearly.
It's safe to say Sneed is reasonably disgusted.
Schwartz one card away from 9 million chips.
The king.
Nice flop.
Nice flop for Sneed. Great turn for Schwartz.
I was on a move.
Wasn't sure you played it well.
I'm gonna have to call. Let's see what you do.
I mean, yeah, ace king,
I have to see what you do on the turn.
Sneed can only knock out Schwartz with the last jack in the deck.
It's a 7 of hearts. Schwartz will win that hand, survive, and double up.
All right.
I had him crushed. 1 out.
With every card comes a change of fate, and a lot of chips now for Elon Schwartz.
It's time to start over.
And Paul Snead will be starting this main event over near the bottom of a very long and steep climb. Back at the Rio, Nicholas Flisberg moved all in over the top of Joe Bishop's raise. Action back on Bishop with ace-king, Flisberg with ace-10.
Nicky, you got an ace? What do you got, bro? Got an ace? Come on, what do you got?
This is a pretty automatic call.
How much is it? I can't fold for that. Call.
Bishop will make the call. Flisberg all in and trailing for his last million chips.
Ace 10 of spades.
One time, come on.
What do you got, 2 5s? Ace king.
Ace king of clubs.
Nice on you. Come on, Joe. Oh, you slow rolling like that? Come on. What a
Did I even wait for the count? I didn't even wait for the count. How was I slow rolling? Okay, I'm a... All right, king, queen, jack. Give him king, queen, jack out the door. Fine. Boo! Come on, give it to him. Give it to the man because I'm a...
Joe's an okay guy, but that was a spiritual slow roll.
Give him the 10.
All right, the flop, Flisberg at risk. The ace hits both. Bishop is best with his kicker.
I'm catching a few cards, admittedly. I'm not going to freaking argue it.
Flisberg would love to see a 10 to give him aces up.
Turn card now is another spade. Flisberg with 4 spades to a flush.
Get it, bro. Get it. Take me down, baby.
Flisberg now needs a 10 or a spade to stay alive.
River card, 4 of hearts, and that will be the end of the main event road for Nicholas Flisberg. He goes out in 25th place.
Go down, Bill.
He finished 65th in the 2005 main event, an even deeper run this year for Nicholas Flisberg.
I was trying to do my part. Gerd took one, I took the other one. Now I'm going to sit here the rest of the day.
So Bishop knocks off Flisberg. We're down to 24. It may soon be fewer. Over at table 3, the youngest player remaining, 21-year-old Aaron Gordon with queen 10 of clubs, all in, 1 card to come against the pocket jacks of Daru Suharto.
Good sweat, I'm not taking anything for granted.
Gordon has to have a queen or a club, or he's going home.
River card, 7 of hearts. Aaron Gordon eliminated in 24th place. He will take home $250,000. And for Daru Suharto, his accounting background will come in handy as he counts his nearly 8 million chips. A lot going on here at the Rio, down to 23 players. But at table 2, Tiffany Michelle is more obsessed with how slowly she thinks Craig Marquis been acting.
If you look down at like 9-4, do you still take that same amount of time deciding whether or not to fold it?
Use some common sense and think about it, and I think you'll know the answer.
You're 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000. Fold doesn't have me fooled.
You're so good.
I know. That's why I'm here right now.
So good.
You know, I wish players would act faster too, but I'm not sure Tiffany's tableside manner makes them want to follow her instructions.
Craig Marquis with ace 7 of hearts. Blinds are up to 50 and 100,000.
1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000.
Marquis doesn't want to make any rash moves. He will just keep his own normal pace. And he will raise it to 280,000.
He was rather slow assembling those chips.
Elon Schwartz with pocket 8s. Reaching for chips. The orange are worth 5,000, the green 25,000, the lavender 100,000. He puts together 280,000 for the call. Snead folds. Action around to Tiffany Michelle with pocket jacks.
Took 1 second less, so I'm going to re-raise.
You know, that type of comment does not endear you to the table.
Tiffany does re-raise to 900,000. Montgomery folds. Tim Lockey gets out of the way. Action back to Marquis.
Ace-7 suited shrinks with the call and raise behind him.
And Marquis wastes little time folding. Back to Schwartz.
How much do you have left? How much do you have left, Tiffany?
Elon wants a count.
Wow, you're asked how much you have left, and you just swirl a finger around your chips. This is not a friendly neighborhood.
Schwartz makes the call.
These folks are going to need group therapy. I don't think table 2 is going to be having a neighborhood block party.
Jacks against 8s. And there is an 8. Schwartz hits a set to take the lead.
All in.
And he pushes all in.
Well, it's all bad news for Tiffany. She doesn't have a queen. She doesn't even have a club.
And she certainly doesn't have a set. Plenty of reasons for Tiffany Michelle to be worried about that flop. And Michelle will give it up.
She folds without further comment, to her credit.
And gives up almost 1 million chips to Elon.
That's enough.
Nice hand, dude.
Perhaps Tiffany should try counting to 10 slowly and regroup, as this last push for the final table is not going her way. Back at the Rio, only 23 players remain. On the E-Trade financial chip count, you see Dennis Phillips is still top dog. Joe Bishop has moved up this session. Chino Reem holding steady at 7.3 million. One person who's fallen out of the top 10 is Tiffany Michelle, who seems to be concerned with a different kind of chip.
You can't eat fries with your fingers at the poker table. You get grease all over your hands and then grease all over the cards.
Not to mention how disgusting, like, the chips. Like, I've been touching these. You don't know where my hands have been at.
That's what a fork is for.
What?
Silverware. Just a suggestion. They invented it a while ago.
Looks like it's now a mob mentality against Tiffany, but I agree with Scott Montgomery about the fork.
Personally, we wouldn't eat anything with our hands while playing poker because...
I guess I'm a lot more daring than all of you boys.
You are. You are. I mean, I already got sick.
The fork, I'm told, predates chopsticks. Who knew?
I don't eat with my hands.
As a preteen, Tiffany was on the beauty pageant circuit, winning several titles, including Congeniality Awards. And I don't think any of these guys will give her that vote tonight. Tiffany did raise it to $300,000 with ace-9. Marquis has pocket queens.
Action.
Marquis started playing poker in January 2007. He went to a New Year's Eve party at online phenom David Benefield's house and realized how much money Benefield was making playing cards.
And he calls, and he'll go heads up against the ace-9 of Tiffany Michelle. Flop, jack, jack 5. Marquis and his queens are still best.
I tell you, if she just raised the brim of the baseball cap just a little, maybe she could see the flop.
She checks. Marquis checks behind her. Turn card, and there's that ace. Tiffany Michelle takes the lead. She checks it.
That ace, always a scare card, Lon. I'm scared, and I'm not even in the hand.
They both check. River card now. 8 of diamonds. Tiffany Michelle with the check mark with a pair of aces, and she checks again.
Will you check again?
Marquis played this hand badly. Probably could have taken down the pot with a bet on the flop.
Tester bet here of $200,000.
That is a small bet.
A raise from Michelle to $500,000.
My, that's interesting.
It is a small raise. Just $300,000 more for Marquis to win a pot of $1.5 million.
I gave you odds. It's not that hard, buddy.
Tiffany seems a little too self-satisfied there.
Begging for a call, but Marquis folds it.
Yes, Sam.
Tiffany takes the small pot.
Thanks to the French fries. Powered by French fries.
Back to the feature table now, where Brandon Cantu has not been very active, but he's still on everybody's mind.
So where from originally anyway? They're Brandon, where from?
Vancouver, Washington.
Where?
Big hockey guy?
Vancouver, Washington.
Oh, Washington. But you said Cowboy? I just heard Vancouver. I stopped paying attention.
What, you can't be a big hockey guy from Vancouver, Washington?
Joe Bishop on the Milwaukee's Best Light pocket cam. Queen 6, and he folds. Over to the 22-year-old pro from Denmark, Peter Eastgate, 10-9 of spades.
And Eastgate now the youngest player remaining.
He races to $300,000. Cantu folds again. Action on Ivan Demidov from Russia in the small blind. Ace-queen offsuit.
Demidov is 27. We have 23 players remaining. 15 of them are in their 20s. Lon, we are officially beyond old.
A call from the small blind. Chris Klodnicki folds his big blind, so Demidov and Eastgate will be heads up. The flop is ace-7 deuce, a pair of aces for Demidov.
The main event is a grind. It really is a young man's game.
Demidov checks. Eastgate now bluffs at it with $450,000.
Eastgate with the continuation bet, also known as take more of my chips.
Ivan, usually a more freewheeling player, told us he's tightened up as he got deep in this tournament, and he just calls. Turn card 10 of clubs. Pair of 10s now for Eastgate, but he's still behind. Demidov checks.
Don't know why Demidov's checking.
Eastgate checks. Deuce of clubs pairs the board. 3 clubs out there, but Demidov has the check mark with aces up. Demidov no longer checking. He will bet $650,000.
Puts out a value bet. Eastgate would need, $650,000, as you said, to try to win a pot of $2.3 million.
Eastgate paired his 10 on the turn. And now he's going to raise it to $1.9 million.
Eastgate gets frisky. Demidov wanted a call. He got a raise, and now he's all turned around.
The 3 clubs on board helping Eastgate's case.
I can't beat anything if I call. I can only beat a bluff.
It's a bluff, Ivan. It's a bluff. It's a bluff. It's a bluff. It's a bluff. It's a bluff.
He needs $1.25 million to call.
I should be punished for playing it so bad. So I guess I have to call. I call.
Demidov calls.
And Eastgate knows he's been picked off.
A $5.5 million chip pot for Demidov. Even facing that big raise, Ivan's gut steered him in the right direction for the call. That is the planter's good instinct moment.
Nice read. Nice call. Nice pot.
A player's main event path can lead him in so many dangerous directions. Demidov's internal compass helped him make the correct choice there.
The Planter's Good Instinct moment is brought to you by Planters. Instinctively good. The 2008 World Series of Poker, presented by Milwaukee's Best Light, main event.
Back at the Rio, Tim Lockey is pacing because he's all in with a pair of 6s. Montgomery was the original raiser with ace-jack. Schwartz called Lockey's all in, and then Montgomery called as well.
Lockey with the best hand, but 2 bounty hunters on his heels.
Love you guys.
Montgomery checks dark. There's the flop now. 10 deuce ace. Lockey got no help there. Montgomery leads now with a pair of aces.
And Tim Lockey 1 step closer to the door.
Montgomery had already checked. Elon Schwartz now checks. A tray on the turn. Schwartz now with a set to take the lead.
Montgomery is going to wish he had bet the flop instead of just checking it down.
Montgomery suddenly drawing dead. He checks.
And if Schwartz can bet here, and he should, Lockey will know he's in deep, deep trouble.
He does bet $600,000.
Can't be any good here. I can show my hand, right? And when I fold? Yeah.
Montgomery gets the message. And he does fold his aces.
Pretty good laydown, man.
Wow. Well, Schwartz shows his leading set. Lockey in trouble. 1 card to come.
Lockey's going to need a 6.
6, baby. 6. 6.
A what?
Is it meant to be?
A 6.
6.
River card is a 4 of hearts. Sorry, Tim, not a 6. Tim Lockey eliminated in 23rd place.
The likable amateur from Chicago had a great run.
Good game, man.
It was check and mate for the former chess hustler who just knocked off Lockey. Elon Schwartz was indeed a chess shark at an early age, but was only recently introduced to the roller coaster poker pro lifestyle.
I met a guy, Fat Nick. I was broke, and Nick said, let's play some cards. And at the end of the weekend, I had about 12 grand, and that was it. Ever since then, I've been playing, but I've been running bad for like 2 years. I had a lot of money, and then I went broke, and then I had a lot of money, and I went broke. That's the way poker is. It drove me insane. It's really, really brutal when you're not winning. Yeah, I went nuts. It wasn't about the money. It was about freedom. So this year, I was just praying that I would have a good run. It finally came. I'm all in. Now I feel like a great monkey's been lifted off my back, and I wasn't sure if I would ever get someplace where I can get free, which is what I want, So hopefully I win the tournament and just get clean of all this, and just hang out in the Caribbean with a hammock.
I once met a guy named Fat Nick. I was broke. He said, let's play cards. And at the end of the weekend, I was divorced.
All right, action continues at the main event. Down to 22 players. Chip average over $6 million. Dennis Phillips still the man to beat. Back at our featured table action on Kelly Kim with pocket deuces.
Kim, 31-year-old business analyst turned poker pro.
Raises to $275,000. Cantu now. 10-5 offsuit.
Cantu, a 27-year-old lazy guy turned poker madman.
$950.
A raise with 10-5 to $950,000. That's the Brandon we love. On to Dean Hamrick now. Hamrick with pocket aces.
In the small blind.
I'm all in.
And a push.
725. You're short on.
Hamrick has just a little more than $2 million. Kelly Kim folds.
Can you pull it in?
He's really thinking about calling?
It's about 2.3 to start the hand.
10-5. It's ugly.
Almost $1.5 million to call.
You don't have a pair. I'm supposed to call any 2 cards.
Brandon got caught, but it's a big pot out there. He might not want to let go.
You have 10s or higher. I'm almost drawing dead.
Brandon says he played terribly the last couple days. He kept making bad reads. He was wrong again and again, but he was lucky here and there.
Hamrick stone-faced with those pocket aces.
Could anyone tell me why I put myself in these situations every time?
Brandon says sometimes his brain says fold, 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 but his mouth says call.
Over and over and over, I do this to myself. Nobody ever sees the times that it works, though. I don't know, maybe it doesn't work.
Well, Brandon might be priced in here. He's getting better than 2.5 to 1 on his money.
This will, if I call this and beat you, I'm just telling you, it's going to be the worst beat you've ever taken in your whole life. Just letting you know it's going to be that bad.
Brandon's mouth trying to override his brain.
God, there's over 2.2 in that pot. How much gamble do I have? Let's play some blackjack.
This would be too much gamble.
I call.
Cantu calls with a 10-5 against Hamrick's aces. Hamrick at risk, but pretty much the best scenario he could hope for.
Yeah, bad read. If Brandon were up against a medium pair or just ace high, it's a different story.
Let's go, baby, bro.
Wow.
Would this be the worst beat you've ever taken? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just hoping you had ace king. There was so much in there.
Brandon stunning everyone, calling with 10-5. He's shocked to see the 2 aces.
I'm going to puke. I know, I'm going to puke.
Brandon Cantu's high wire act trying to claim another victim.
I almost want him to fold.
Yeah. Dean getting support from his twin brother Yale. Now the flop. Oh, and there's a 5.
There we go.
That pairs Cantu.
Here comes the Brandon Cantu Express.
How about a 9?
That would give him a straight draw.
How about a 9?
How about an ace?
What an ace. Put a 9 up there. Let's see how good I can really run.
We've seen Brandon knock someone off with worse cards.
I can run really good, just to warn everybody.
Dean Hamrick, forewarned and at risk.
Turn card now. Another 8 aces up for Hamrick, stealing outs from Brandon.
Horrible card.
Stay in front of me. They don't want to see me if this hits.
2 pair now would be no good for Brandon. He can only knock out Hamrick at this point with a river 5.
River's a 10, and Cantu did make his 2 pair, but Hamrick doubles up with aces up. 10-5 costs Brandon half his stack.
You're a sick puppy.
The sick puppy now in serious trouble. Brandon tried to steal from the button, and then he wouldn't get away from it.
Good time for aces?
Indeed, a very good time for aces for Dean Hamrick, and even better, he got called by the 10-5.
He's right, that would have been the worst beat I've ever taken.
Instead, it might have been the best and most important win Dean Hamrick has ever enjoyed. Back at the Rio, Daru Suharto has a great chance to knock off another player with pocket kings. He has Tony Judet in trouble holding 2 jacks.
Judet needs a king or an 8 for a straight to stay alive.
River card is a 5 of spades. Judet eliminated in 22nd place. The Romanian takes home $250,000, and the accountant from Canada has become a force, knocking out a third of the field today, chipping up to nearly $11.5 million.
An accountant with chips. Haven't we seen this before?
Back at our feature table, action is folded to Dean Hamrick, fresh off his big double-up against Brandon Cantu. Dean looks down at 9 tray, and into the muck they go.
Brandon might have played those.
Joe Bishop, 6-5 of clubs.
I love the sound of it. 330.
I hate the sound of 330. That's when my kids get out of school.
A raise to 330 from Bishop. Over to Eastgate now. King Jack of Hearts.
But not even my kids. She brought them along in the marriage.
In the big blind. And he calls for 230 more.
What, suddenly I'm Ward Cleaver?
Here's the flop is deuce 5 ace, a pair of 5s and a flush draw for Bishop. And he bets $375,000.
Eastgate whiffed on the flop. His nickname is Icegate because when he plays poker, he is calm and icy.
More than that, he pops it to $1 million.
That is one calm, icy, and feisty 22-year-old.
Well, Bishop will call for $625,000 more.
All right.
Yeah, 625.
All right. Building a pot.
I'll check.
Bishop checks dark.
Joe, anything but calm and icy.
Turn card 4 of hearts. Bishop's 5s are still good, and he adds a straight draw. Eastgate with his own heart flush draw.
Bishop's expression, though, when the turn hit, telegraphing that he's got a pretty weak hand.
Eastgate, that's $1.4 million.
Big question is what would Brandon do? That's a big question here.
I think we all know what I would do.
Call.
Bishop just calls.
It just feels like Eastgate now has the better hand. He has seized control of the pot by raising on the flop and then
Be kind.
bet on the turn.
River card 10 of diamonds misses Eastgate. Bishop with the check mark.
Check.
Eastgate can only win the pot by betting on it. Let's see if he picks up on Bishop's unease.
No third bullet by Eastgate. He checks.
Yeah. Bro, what do you got, bro? I got a freaking foul. I missed my freaking club, my club draw. And
Good enough to win the pot for Bishop, though.
I thought I might do it.
Peter lays it down and Joe.
Gotta believe Eastgate regrets not betting the river. Gotta believe Bishop would have laid it down.
How aggravating for Eastgate to think he might have been able to take that pot holding the worst hand.
That's a stupid call. Yeah, see, that's what I do.
All right, let's go over to table 2. Paul Sneed flopped top pair against the ace high of Scott Montgomery. Action is on Montgomery. Montgomery reaching, and he makes it $1.5 million to stick around.
The youngins love the posture, and they love to put pressure on you.
Raise.
42-year-old Sneed knows how to turn up the heat, too.
$3 million total.
He makes it $3 million.
Well, that should do it for Montgomery. He's got squadoosh.
How much more do you have?
Is he thinking about sticking around, though?
Sneed should just, twirl his finger around his chips. It would save time.
I'm all in.
Montgomery pushes all in.
Wow. I thought Montgomery was posturing when he asked for a count. Instead, with nothing, he bluffs all in and puts big-time pressure on Sneed.
So this late in the main event, a big decision for Paul Sneed.
Well, Sneed with a big pot out there, getting good pot odds. He has top pair, but this is for 80% of his chips.
I got caught. I have outs, probably. I definitely have outs.
If Sneed calls, Montgomery is the one who's caught.
I don't think you have a made hand. I might have the best hand.
Sneed had raised from the button pre-flop trying to steal the blinds, and Montgomery re-raised him $800,000 from the big blind. Now, Sneed has out-flopped him, but he's got to decide for almost all his chips if Montgomery's got him crushed.
What do you want, buddy? Talk to me.
I want you to fold. I mean, is there a question about it? I know I have the best hand, but man, I don't want to risk all my life. You said you got outs. I don't want you to call. Please fold. Please, please, please fold. I mean,
Montgomery mostly truthful there. He doesn't have the best hand, but he really, really, really wants Sneed to fold.
How many players left?
Can't blame Sneed. Any decision at this point of the tournament is a huge decision.
I got a clock.
Are you serious? Are you kidding me?
Honey, I'm short and time's running and you've been taking a long time, so. Sorry.
Wow, I can't believe she's calling the clock at this stage of the tournament. Tiffany's within her rights, but it ain't right.
Only a $12 million pot. She calls clock.
Tiffany's got 50 big blinds left, and she is not in the hand.
Now extra pressure on Sneed.
It's about math. I have to call. If it's about survival, I should fold.
Sneed certainly no newcomer to poker.
What's it about?
He understands there are make-or-break moments in every tournament. This may be his here in the main event.
This is a make-or-break moment for Scott Montgomery, too.
Clock running out.
The call.
And Sneed makes the tough call. Montgomery doesn't like that.
I got him! Come on, baby! I got him!
He's got him.
Oh, sheepishly turns over his ace-4. Sneed in great shape to knock off Montgomery.
Not cool, yo. Not cool.
Honey, it's my right. It's my right, babe.
Really not cool. Like,
If I thought he was, you know what? If I thought he was close to making a decision, my chips are short right now. Lions are really big, and I'm playing for $9 million too.
You can justify whatever you want. I'm just saying it's not cool. It's really rude.
Again, Tiffany was within her rights to call the clock, but in that spot, it was a bit cold.
All right, let's get back to the action at the table. Paul Sneed and his wife Elizabeth's arms waiting for the turn card. Turn card and 8 of hearts. No good for Montgomery. Sneed, though, picks up a flush draw.
Time running out on Scott Montgomery.
That's a lovely card.
Only a non-heart ace keeps Montgomery alive.
It's an ace!
Oh, it's a diamond!
Montgomery wins the hand and doubles up, somehow taking that pot from Paul Sneed.
Oh, man, that was so ugly.
Guy just put, let's see, 6 million chips in with ace 4.
I thought it was aces.
With nothing on the flop.
Sneed crippled and devastated.
Montgomery hits the river and rakes in that 11 million chip pot. And after that ugliness, the only way Paul Sneed may be seeing the final table is at home on the big screen. This poker fact brought to you by FullTiltPoker.net. At a 9-handed table, if you hold an ace pre-flop, there's a 70% chance you're the only one who has one, so use it wisely.
The boardroom table and the poker table. The only difference between them is a layer of felt. At these tables, we go all in. We're fully leveraged. Reading risk and reward here isn't much different than reading it on a spreadsheet. We play because poker's like business. Without the conference calls. The office may close at 6, but there's a game that's always open. We play at FullTiltPoker.com.
Back at the Rio after getting crushed by Scott Montgomery, Paul Sneed knocked off by Craig Marquis.
Well, sucks.
For Sneed, a brutal end to a wonderful main event.
He knocked off Mike Matiso in this tournament, but done in here by Craig Marquis.
Sneed's gone, mostly due to Scott Montgomery's remarkable luck.
Sneed finding solace in his wife's arms. Meanwhile, at table 3, Dennis Phillips continues to lead the charge, still the chip leader with over 14 million.
Not trying to play stupid, guys. I'm going to make the final 9. I got enough chips to do it. I'm not going to donk him off.
A warning shot fired by the chip leader. On the E-Trade financial chip count, you see that 5 players are over 10 million. Joe Bishop has charged up that leaderboard, as has Daru Suharto. One player much closer to the bottom than the top is Brandon Cantu, under the chip average of 6.8 million. Currently, he has less than 3 million chips. Joe Bishop suddenly in second place. He folds. On to Peter Eastgate. Eastgate with ace-queen offsuit.
He does look like Ice Skate.
He raises to 300,000. Action folds to Cantu with pocket 9s.
Smaller.
And he moves all in.
Brandon says he struggles with short stack play. He's not patient enough, but going all in there with pocket 9s, fairly standard.
You have a count?
So now action back to Eastgate. If he calls, Cantu will be at risk.
Brandon had 26, 27 big blinds left.
I believe it's like 2.7.
I guess he could have called and seen a flop, but that's just not in his nature.
Eastgate needs a little more than 2 million to call. With ace-queen, he calls.
It's 2.3 million additional over to Peter, and he makes the call.
Brandon leads right now.
So Brandon Cantu, the only bracelet winner left in the field, now at risk.
Peter Eastgate with a chance to knock off the pro.
Low cards.
All right, let's see what the flop brings.
All right, now the flop, and it is tray 6-8. All diamonds, both with flush draws. Eastgate with the nut flush draw.
It's not so good.
Yeah, it's still a coin flip. And now Brandon has to dodge an ace, a queen, and diamonds.
Ace or an 8.
It's 9's coming. 9's coming.
By the way, if Brandon had just called pre-flop, he probably would have pushed all in on that flop, and Eastgate probably would have called him, so we'd still be in the same spot.
Turn card now. 8 of hearts. Brandon still good. 1 card to come. Cantu's fast and loose style kept him near the top of the leaderboard, but he's at risk here. If he can stay out of harm's way, one of the most accomplished players remaining will be back in the game.
Eastgate looking for an ace, a queen, or a diamond to eliminate Cantu.
River cards a diamond. Eastgate with a nut flush eliminates Brandon Cantu. Cantu goes out in 20th place. Wins $250,000.
It was a roller coaster ride for Brandon Cantu. He'll do a lot of second guessing. Certainly very disappointed to leave short of the main event final table.
One thing's for certain, whoever wins this main event will be winning their first World Series bracelet. With the elimination of Albert Kim in 19th place, we're down to 18 players.
Give me my money!
But one player who's in great shape for even more money is ship leader Dennis Phillips. But Phillips and others will have to contend with the dangerous pro Chino Ream. Coming up, we find out who will be the November 9. For Norman Chad, I'm Lon McCarran from the main event of the World Series of Poker.